Golden light spills from the windows of Sinclair's Reserve onto the cold Portland sidewalk, a sharp contrast to the winter night pressing against the glass. I stand in my mezzanine office, watching the last of tonight's dinner service unfold beneath me. The restaurant hums with quiet conversation, crystal glasses clinking, and the occasional burst of laughter. I run my finger down the column of numbers on today's receipts, mentally calculating our profit margin. Not bad for a Wednesday in December. 4 years of renovation and reputation building are finally paying off. My eyes drift to the security monitor mounted on my wall. Table 5 needs their check. The couple at table 12 look ready for their dessert. I reach for the house intercom to prompt the staff when the door to my office bursts open. Chloe stands in the doorway, cheeks flushed, wisps of blonde hair escaping her neat bun. Despite being only 21 and hired just 3 weeks ago, she's proven herself remarkably composed. Until now. "Miss Victoria," she says breathlessly. "There's a group at the front demanding a table. They say they know you personally." I straighten, instantly alert. "Description? 5 women. The one doing all the talking has blonde hair, red dress, says she's family." My stomach tightens. I don't need to check the reservation book to know we're fully committed tonight. I glance at the security monitor and zoom in on the entrance. The camera captures a familiar blonde head, an exaggerated hand gesture, the flash of a red designer dress. "That's my sister," I say, keeping my voice neutral. Chloe's shoulders drop slightly. "Should I find them a table? They're making quite a scene." "No, tell them we're fully booked tonight just like any other walk-in." I meet her eyes directly. "If they cause problems, tell them you can check if I can arrange something. But make it clear we don't have availability." Chloe nods and turns to leave, but hesitates at the door. "The blonde woman, your sister, she's being rather insistent." "I'm sure she is." I force a small smile. "Just handle it like any other difficult guest." As she leaves, I zoom in on the front entrance camera. Aria stands with her group, one hip cocked, flipping her long blonde hair over her shoulder. Even without audio, I can tell she's speaking too loudly by the way nearby guests turn their heads. I turn up the volume on the monitor. "We're close personal friends with the owner," Aria announces to no one in particular, though clearly intending for the entire waiting area to hear. Victoria would be horrified to know we're being kept waiting. Chloe approaches, a professional smile firmly in place. "I'm sorry, ma'am, but as I mentioned, all our tables are reserved tonight." Aria's face hardens. "Do you know who I am? I can get you fired in a heartbeat." One of her friends, a brunette in a too tight black dress, sneers. "Is this like your career high? Waitressing while in college?" She looks Chloe up and down. How adorable. The memory hits me like a physical blow. My 16th birthday. Grandma and Grandpa had closed the restaurant early, back when it was still the family diner, to celebrate. Aria, 14 and already weaponizing her beauty, had deliberately knocked my cake to the floor when all attention wasn't on her. "You're just the help," she'd hissed when I'd confronted her later. "That's all you'll ever be." 2 years after that, Grandma and Grandpa were gone. Our parents moved to Arizona, leaving the struggling diner to me, while they gave Aria money for college, which she'd used primarily for spring break trips and sorority fees. I'd spent 4 years renovating this place, transforming it, honoring my grandparents' legacy while Aria drifted through life on charm and our parents' generosity. And now she's in my restaurant, threatening my staff. I reach for the intercom button. "Chloe, this is Victoria. Seat the party at VIP table 9. I pause, then add, "And be sure to get a credit card and ID from Miss Sinclair to hold the reservation." I watch Chloe's subtle surprise on the monitor. Table 9 is our premium spot, normally reserved weeks in advance. It's the table with no prices on the menu, because the people who sit there don't need to ask what anything costs. Aria squeals in triumph when Chloe delivers my message. Her friends gather their designer bags, shooting smug looks at the other waiting guests. I pick up the kitchen phone. "Marcus, this is Victoria. The party at table 9 tonight, give them our best. Every premium ingredient we have." I watch as they're led through the restaurant, Aria already pulling out her phone to document her victory. Yes, the full VIP experience. I hang up and allow myself a small smile as I watch them settle in at the table by the window, the golden light from our custom fixtures making the crystal and silver gleam. Aria raises her glass in a toast, and her friends lean in, laughing. The table where my grandparents once taught me that good food served with respect could transform people's lives. The table where I'd learned that every job in a restaurant was valuable. The table where I'd promised my dying grandfather I would keep their dream alive. Now it's Arya's trap. She just doesn't know it yet. I straighten my blazer and watch as the first round of drinks arrives at their table. The night is just beginning. I watch the security monitor as Arya's party indulges in their third hour at table 9. Their laughter grows louder with each round of cocktails, premium ones, of course. My instructions to the kitchen left nothing to chance. Japanese, a 5 Wagyu, Maine lobster tails, white truffles shaved tableside. For dessert, a lemon tart crowned with gold leaf that costs more than most people's dinner for two. Through it all, Chloe maintains perfect composure, refilling crystal glasses with $300 bottles of champagne, carefully noting each selection on the check that grows longer by the minute. Miss Victoria? Marcus appears at my office door, wiping his hands on his chef's apron. Table 9 has finished dessert. Should we offer after-dinner drinks? No, I say, standing and smoothing my blouse. I believe it's time to conclude their evening. On the monitor, I watch Chloe approach their table with a leather folio. Inside, a check for exactly $5,349.50. Arya's face when Chloe places the folio before her is everything I anticipated, shock giving way to indignation, her perfectly lined lips parting in disbelief. She flips open the cover, blinks twice at the total, then slams it shut. There must be some mistake, Arya says, loud enough that diners at nearby tables pause their conversations. I was invited tonight. My sister is the owner. Her friends exchange nervous glances, the reality of their evening finally penetrating through the fog of expensive alcohol. Their Instagram posts celebrating luxury girls' night out suddenly appear premature. Victoria said we'd be taken care of. Arya's voice rises to a shriek. Her face flushes red beneath her makeup, a childhood tell I remember from whenever she'd been caught in a lie. This is ridiculous. Other guests turn to watch the spectacle, their forks hovering midway to their mouths. The elegant atmosphere I've spent 4 years cultivating threatens to dissolve. Chloe, to her credit, doesn't flinch. Ma'am, the first 3 rounds were comped, as Miss Sinclair instructed. Her voice remains steady, professional. If you know the owner, you're welcome to call her directly for confirmation. Arya glances at her friends, who shift uncomfortably in their chairs. The brunette who mocked Chloe earlier suddenly appears intensely interested in her napkin. Another scrolls frantically through her phone, likely checking her bank balance. I step away from the monitor and slip into my black blazer, the one I reserve for important meetings and confrontations. The wool feels like armor against what comes next. Arya pushes back from the table, nearly knocking over a water glass. I need to use the restroom, she announces, grabbing her phone. Her friends exchange worried looks but say nothing as she storms across the dining room. 5 minutes later, she returns with a determined set to her jaw. She beckons Chloe over, holding up her phone screen. Look, she says, scrolling through what appears to be a text conversation. Victoria S. Owner Sinclair's. She points to a message bubble. Can't wait to treat you and the girls tonight. Everything's on me. Even from my vantage point on the mezzanine, I can tell it's fake. A hastily created contact, probably typed in the bathroom stall moments ago. Chloe studies the screen, her expression neutral. I'm sorry, ma'am, but I need direct confirmation from Miss Sinclair. Restaurant policy. I watch Arya's facade crack, her shoulders slump before she rallies, eyes darting to her friends, who now appear more embarrassed than entitled. The stakes are clear. $5,349.50 that nobody planned to pay. I'm calling my sister right now. Arya hisses, punching at her phone. My cell vibrates in my pocket. I let it ring, watching the scene unfold below. She's not answering. Arya announces after 4 rings. Perhaps she's busy running the restaurant, Chloe suggests, her tone perfectly balanced between helpful and pointed. Around them, my staff continues working with practiced professionalism. Carlos delivers a bottle of wine to table 12 without glancing at the disturbance. Maria recites the night's specials to new arrivals as if there isn't a woman having a meltdown 20 feet away. Their loyalty registers as a warm certainty in my chest. They're standing with me through this, maintaining the standards I've fought to establish. I step out of my office and pause at the top of the stairs that lead down to the main floor. The entire restaurant seems to hold its breath. Even Arya, sensing movement, looks up and sees me. The descent feels longer than usual, each step measured and deliberate. When I reach table 9, Arya's expression has shifted from anger to something closer to panic. Her friends won't meet my eyes. I am Victoria Sinclair, the owner, I say, my voice soft but carrying. I don't recall inviting anyone for a free meal tonight. Arya's face flushes crimson, then drains to pale in the space of 3 seconds. Her eyes darted between me and her friends, searching for support and finding none. I was just kidding, sis, she says, tears welling. I just wanted my friends to have fun. You know how it is. A joke has to end at the right time, Arya, I reply, no emotion coloring my words. Tonight, that time is now. I turn to Chloe, who stands ready with the credit card terminal. Charge the full bill, minus the 3 free rounds. Arya fumbles for her phone, fingers trembling as she tries to call our parents. The call goes straight to voicemail. Dad's probably golfing, Mom at her book club. I know their schedules better than Arya does. Her friends begin a flurry of activity wallets emerging from designer bags, credit cards laid on the table like surrendered weapons. One whispers frantically to another about maxing out her card. Another mentions something about rent money. The reality of their evening's choices settles over them like a heavy blanket. Chloe processes each payment with quiet efficiency, her composed manner a stark contrast to their panic. When she's finished, she meets my eyes and gives a small, professional nod. Your bill has been settled, she tells Arya. Thank you for dining at Sinclair's Reserve tonight. The silence that follows hangs between us, thick with all the things Arya wants to say but, for once, doesn't. She gathers her purse, not looking at me as she and her friends rise to leave. I stand perfectly still until they've exited through the front doors, the cold December air rushing in briefly before the door swings shut behind them. Around us, the restaurant resumes its rhythm. Soft conversations, the gentle clink of silverware against plates, waitstaff moving with practiced grace between tables. The moment of consequence has passed, leaving only the lingering satisfaction of a lesson delivered. Chloe approaches, holding the night's receipts. Will there be anything else, Miss Sinclair? No, I say, taking one last look at the empty chairs at table 9. You handled that perfectly. For the first time in years, I've stood my ground against Arya's entitlement. The cost was high family peace for professional integrity, but as I return to my office, I know I've made the right choice. Some things, like respect, have to be earned, not demanded. Tonight, Arya learned that lesson, one expensive bite at a time. I hear him before I see him. The heavy footsteps, the way the front door nearly rebounds off its hinges. My father has arrived, and he's not happy. 3 days have passed since Arya and her friends paid their bill and left Sinclair's Reserve with their tails between their legs. 3 days of silence from my family until now. I straighten the papers on my desk, take a deep breath, and watch Mr. Sinclair on the security monitor as he strides through the dining room. Several lunch patrons glance up from their meals, sensing the storm brewing in his rigid shoulders and clenched jaw. Chloe intercepts him near the stairs to my office. Sir, do you have a reservation? I'm here to see my daughter, he growls, not even looking at her. Victoria. I exit my office and stand at the mezzanine railing. Dad, I'm in the middle of lunch service. Now, Victoria. His voice carries through the restaurant like thunder. With a slight nod to Chloe, I descend the stairs and lead him to a private corner table. Before I can even sit down, his hand slams against the polished mahogany surface, rattling the silverware. What the hell were you thinking? His face flushes crimson beneath his silver hair. Publicly humiliating your sister? Forcing her to pay for a meal that cost more than most people's monthly rent? I keep my voice level. I didn't force Arya to do anything. She came here uninvited, claimed she was my guest, threatened my staff, and ordered the most expensive items on our menu. She's your sister. His voice drops to a harsh whisper, conscious of the diners nearby despite his anger. Family looks out for family, Victoria. You don't expose them to ridicule. And what about my staff? Don't they deserve protection from Arya's tantrums, from her threats to get them fired? Dad waves his hand dismissively. They work in service. They deal with difficult customers all the time. They work for me, I corrected him. And no one, family included, gets to abuse them. This isn't about your waitress. This is about loyalty. Your sister was mortified. Her friends had to help cover that outrageous bill. You've damaged her reputation. I sit silently for a moment, weighing my next move. Then I stand. Come with me. Without waiting to see if he follows, I climb the stairs back to my office. I hear his hesitant footsteps behind me. Once inside, I close the door and open my laptop. "What's this?" he asks, his anger momentarily replaced by confusion. "Evidence," I say simply, turning the screen toward him. I press play on the security footage. The high-definition video shows Arya and her friends entering the restaurant. The crystal-clear audio captures every word. "We're close friends with the owner," Arya's voice rings out. I advance the footage to their interaction with Chloe. "Do you know who I am? I can get you fired in a heartbeat." Arya's face twists with contempt. "Is this like your career high? Waitressing while in college?" How adorable. Her friend's snide remark sounds even more vicious through the speakers. I skip ahead to their meal. Arya ordering another round of cocktails, loudly proclaiming they should go all out because my sister's paying. The entire table laughed as they added more items to their order, commenting on the insane prices they wouldn't have to worry about. Then the moment when the check arrives, Arya's shock, her flushed face as she fumbles through excuses. The phone she holds up with a fake chat screen open, claiming I had invited her. My father watches in stunned silence. When the footage ends, he sinks into the chair across from my desk. For a long moment, he says nothing. Then, "I was wrong." The admission hangs in the air between us. I wait. "I was wrong," he continues, his voice rougher now. "Not just about this night. I was wrong to let my youngest think she could solve everything with her mouth and connections." I close the laptop gently. "This isn't about punishing Arya, Dad. It's about consequences. She's 24 years old. It's time she understood that actions have repercussions." He nods slowly, runs a hand through his silver hair. "Your grandparents would be proud of what you've built here, Victoria. I see that now." Through the window of my office door, I spot Arya hovering at the top of the stairs. Her eyes are red-rimmed, her usual confidence absent as she waits for our father. When he emerges, she falls into step behind him, head bowed. She doesn't look back at me. The restaurant continues to hum below, undisturbed by our family drama. My staff has maintained absolute professionalism throughout the confrontation. Regular customers remain happily unaware of what's transpired. Chloe catches my eye from across the dining room and gives a subtle nod of respect. I hadn't asked them to take sides. I'd simply asked them to uphold standards, our standards. And they'd done so with remarkable grace. Over the following weeks, the restaurant thrives despite the family turbulence. Holiday reservations fill our books. Regular customers return for their favorite dishes. New patrons, drawn by our growing reputation, become regulars themselves. New Year's Eve arrives with a flurry of black ties and sequined dresses. From my office window, I look down at the buzzing dining room, my gaze settling on table 9. Tonight it hosts a celebrity chef and his family, laughing over champagne and caviar. No drama, no entitlement, just appreciation for the experience we've created. I turn to the wall behind my desk where I've hung a simple black frame. Inside is the receipt for $5,349.50, preserved like a battle scar. Beneath it, in my handwriting, "No job is beneath anyone, only a person lacks respect." A quiet smile crosses my face. The lesson was expensive for Arya, but necessary. For me, it marked the end of endless accommodation and the beginning of something healthier for both of us. The next morning, I called Chloe into my office. "I'd like to offer you a full-time position," I told her. "Your handling of that situation with my sister and everything since has been exemplary." Her eyes widened. "Thank you, Miss Victoria. I don't know what to say." "Say yes," I smile. "And there's a bonus in your next paycheck. You've earned it." As she thanks me again and leaves, I realize I'm establishing more than just professional boundaries. I'm creating the foundation for what family relationships should actually look like: mutual respect, accountability, clear expectations. I still call my parents weekly. I still ask about Arya, though they've grown remarkably tight-lipped about her activities. I'm not cutting ties, I'm requiring respect. The difference is crucial. 2 months have passed. The restaurant continues to flourish. February brings Valentine's couples and business meetings alike through our doors. I settle into a comfortable rhythm, the incident with Arya fading into a teaching moment rather than an open wound. On a quiet Monday morning, as I review vendor invoices in my office, a soft knock interrupts my concentration. Not Chloe's quick, efficient rap. Something hesitant, almost apologetic. I called out, "Come in." The door opens slowly. Arya stands in the doorway, nearly unrecognizable. Her designer clothes were replaced by simple jeans and a sweater. Her face bare of makeup, hair pulled back without pretense. "Hi, Vic," she says softly, using my childhood nickname. My eyes flick to the framed receipt on the wall. In one smooth motion, I open my desk drawer and slide the frame inside, out of sight. "Hello, Arya," I responded, my voice neutral but not cold. "What brings you here today?" She steps into the office, closes the door behind her. Something has changed in her eyes, a humility I've never seen before. "I was hoping we could talk," she says. The possibility of genuine change hangs in the air between us. Arya sits, her hands folded tightly in her lap. The silence between us feels physical, weighted with the memory of her drunken entitlement, her threats to my staff, the humiliating confrontation that followed. "I don't know how to start," she finally says, looking at her hands instead of me. "Usually the beginning works," I reply, leaning back in my chair. Arya takes a deep breath. "I'm sorry, Victoria. Really sorry. Not just for the scene I made here, but..." She pauses, struggling. "For how I've treated you for years. For thinking I deserved special treatment. For threatening your employee." I study her face, searching for the performative quality her apologies usually carry, the calculated tears, the practiced sincerity. Surprisingly, I find none of those familiar markers. "What happened after Dad left that night?" I ask, keeping my expression neutral. "They cut me off." Arya's laugh holds no humor. "Not just money. They wouldn't take my calls for 3 weeks." She looks up, meeting my eyes directly. "Dad showed Mom the security footage. All of it. They made me watch it with them when they finally agreed to see me." I remain silent, giving her space to continue. "It's different, seeing yourself like that, hearing the things you said." Her voice drops. "I couldn't believe that was me." "But it was." She straightens slightly. "I've been seeing someone, a therapist, trying to figure out why she gestures vaguely, became that person." I take a sip of my coffee, considering her words carefully. "Words are easy, Arya. Actions take time." "I know," she nods, looking around my office. "I've been thinking a lot about what you wrote on that receipt. No job is beneath anyone. Only a person lacks respect." My eyebrows rise slightly. I hadn't expected her to remember that detail. "I want to work here," she says suddenly. I nearly choke on my coffee. "What?" "As a waitress," she clarifies. "Not management, not hostess. A waitress." She leans forward. "The job I mocked Chloe for doing." I search her face for signs of manipulation, some hidden angle that would benefit her. "Why?" "Because I need to understand," she says simply. "I need to know what it's like on the other side, what it's like to earn something instead of just demanding it." "The staff won't be thrilled," I point out. "They remember you." "I know." She looks down. "I wouldn't be thrilled either if I were them." I consider the proposal, weighing risks against potential rewards. Could this be genuine growth, or another elaborate performance? "If I agree to this," I say carefully, "there are conditions." Arya nods immediately. "Anything." "You start at the bottom. Minimum wage plus tips, just like everyone else. No special treatment. If you're late, you're written up. If you're rude to a customer or staff member, you're out." I lean forward. "And you work the full schedule. No calling off for parties or shopping trips." "I understand. You'll need to prove yourself to the staff. I won't force them to like you." She nods again. "That's fair." I rise from my desk. Decision made. Training starts tomorrow, 6 a.m. Don't be late. The staff meeting later that morning goes about as well as expected. Faces tighten when I announce Arya's trial employment. Marcus, my head chef, crosses his tattooed arms over his chest. The same woman who called Jose a Mexican busboy when he's been our head dishwasher for 5 years? That Aria? The same, I acknowledge. People can change, but they need the opportunity to prove it. Chloe, to her credit, simply nods professionally. Will she be training with me? Yes, and I need you to be fair but firm. No letting things slide because she's my sister. Not a problem, Chloe says, a ghost of a smile touching her lips. Aria's first day tests my resolve. She arrives at 5:45 a.m., already dressed in the black pants and white shirt uniform. Her expression when I hand her the employee manual is one of genuine determination. By noon, reality has set in. I watch from the mezzanine as she struggles with a tray of water glasses, her steps careful but uncertain. A glass wobbles dangerously. Her feet, unsuited to hours of standing, already show her discomfort in the way she shifts her weight. A table of businessmen snaps their fingers to get her attention. One points rudely at his empty coffee cup. I see Aria's shoulders tense, then deliberately relax as she approaches with a smile that costs her visible effort. By closing, her makeup has worn off completely. Her ponytail droops. When she thinks no one is watching, she leans against the wall near the kitchen, rubbing her lower back. How was it? I ask her as she punches out. Harder than I thought, she admits. My feet feel like they're going to fall off. You get used to it, I say, remembering my own first weeks working for our grandparents. Will you be back tomorrow? Something like pride flickers across her exhausted face. Yes, I'll be here. The weeks that follow surprise me. Aria never misses a shift. She accepts corrections from Chloe without drama. When a customer sends back a steak 3 times, claiming it's overcooked, then undercooked, then just not right, Aria handles it with unexpected grace. The kitchen staff was ready to murder that guy. I overheard Jose telling her as they rolled silverware after closing. How did you stay so calm? Aria shrugs. I used to be that customer. Worse, actually. She looks embarrassed. I'm trying to be better. A month into her employment, I noticed something significant. She's learning the names of our regulars. Mr. Petrowski, the retired teacher who comes in every Tuesday for the pot roast special. The Hendersons, who celebrate their anniversary with us each month. Mrs. Carlyle, who always wants extra lemons for her water. How's the experiment going? Marcus asks me one evening as we review the week's orders. Better than expected, I admit. But I'm still waiting for the other shoe to drop. He nods toward the dining room where Aria is helping the new busboy learn the table numbering system. Sometimes people surprise you, especially when they hit rock bottom. I watch my sister laugh at something the busboy says, her expression open and genuine in a way I haven't seen since we were children. Maybe, I concede, allowing myself the first cautious hope that this change might actually be real. I glance down at the dining room from my mezzanine office, eyes fixed on VIP table 9. The same table where Aria's journey began 3 months ago now hosts another group of 5 women, all designer clothes and expensive perfume. Their voices carry across the restaurant floor, demanding attention with each exaggerated laugh and theatrical complaint. Aria moves between tables with practiced efficiency, her once manicured nails now trimmed short for practicality. Her first month working here has transformed her, physically and otherwise. The makeup is minimal, the designer clothes replaced by our standard black uniform. She's proven herself surprisingly capable, mastering the computerized ordering system faster than most new hires, and memorizing our extensive wine list within 2 weeks. The intercom on my desk buzzes. Chloe's voice comes through, tight with concern. Victoria, we have a situation at table 9. They're getting difficult. What kind of difficulty? I ask, though I already know. I arranged this table myself. They're demanding free appetizers because they waited an extra 5 minutes. One claims she knows the owner personally. Who's their server? I ask, knowing full well the answer. Aria. Good, let her handle it. I watch from above as Aria approaches table 9 with a tray of water. One woman with a sleek brunette bob gestures sharply, her red lacquered nail jabbing the air between them. We've been waiting 15 minutes for our drinks, she says, voice pitched to Carrie. Is this how you treat all your guests, or just the important ones? I recognize the line, word for word what Aria had said to Chloe months ago. Aria's spine stiffens slightly, but her smile remains professional. I apologize for the wait. Our bartender is preparing your specialty cocktails now. They'll be out momentarily. The woman who seems to be their leader leans forward. Do you have any idea who I am? I'm personal friends with Victoria Sinclair. Again, Aria's exact words from that night. I could have fired you with one phone call, adds another at the table. I watch Aria's hands for any tremor, any sign that she might crack under the pressure. This test wasn't scheduled until next week, but when this particular group made a reservation, I recognized the opportunity. 5 women from a local marketing firm, notorious for their demanding behavior. Perfect mirrors for what Aria once was. I understand your frustration, Aria says, voice steady. Allow me to bring some complimentary truffle popcorn while your drinks are being prepared. No defensiveness, no attitude, just problem-solving and professionalism. The brunette scoffs. Popcorn? Do we look like we're at a movie theater? We want the tuna tartare. Comped. Aria takes a small breath. I lean forward, watching her face in profile. A month ago, she would have been on her phone by now, texting furiously for backup or making threats. The tuna tartare is exceptional, she says instead. I'll check with the kitchen to expedite your order. The drinks will be out in 2 minutes. As she walks away, one woman calls after her. This service is pathetic. Is waitressing like your career high? Because you're not very good at it. The exact phrase Aria's friend had used on Chloe. I reach for the intercom, finger hovering over the button. Part of me wants to intervene, to spare her this humiliation. But that would undermine everything the past month has built. Aria needs to face the mirror I've placed before her. Aria returns with their drinks on a silver tray, each glass garnished precisely to our standards. Her movements are deliberate, careful. She serves the most demanding woman first, then works her way around the table. Your tuna tartare is being prepared, she informs them. Chef Marcus is adding extra yuzu just for your table. The brunette tastes her drink and makes a face. This isn't strong enough, and I specifically asked for no mint. There's no mint in that cocktail, Aria says gently. The green you're seeing is basil, but I'm happy to have it remade stronger if you prefer. The woman pushes the drink away. Just tell Victoria that Melanie is here. She'll know who I am. I'd be happy to let Miss Sinclair know you're asking for her, Aria says, maintaining her composure. May I get your last name as well? The woman falters slightly. Just Melanie. She knows me. Aria nods. I'll be right back with your tartare and let Miss Sinclair know you're asking for her. She walks away, shoulders squared, and disappears into the kitchen. I expect her to come storming up to my office, demanding to know why these women are being so difficult. Instead, I watch her on the kitchen camera, taking a deep breath, rolling her shoulders back, and speaking quietly to Marcus. No drama, no scene, just doing her job. When she returns to the table, she brings not only their tartare, but also a small plate of chocolate truffles. With our compliments, she tells them. I've informed Miss Sinclair that you're here. She sends her regards but is in a meeting with investors at the moment. A perfect professional lie, the kind I would have authorized myself. The women at the table exchange glances, their momentum somewhat broken. They'd expected tears, or anger, or at least flustered discomfort. Aria gives them none of it. For the next hour, I watch as Aria handles every complaint, every demand with the same steady professionalism. When they insist on moving tables mid-meal, she arranges it without protest. When they claim their steaks are overcooked, they aren't. She has new ones prepared. When they demand to know why the dessert menu doesn't feature creme brulee like it used to, Aria politely explains that our menu changes seasonally, offering alternatives with similar flavor profiles. Not once does she lose her composure. Not once does she make excuses or become defensive. She simply solves problems, one after another, with dignity intact. When they finally leave, after paying their bill in full, I note with satisfaction. Aria stands at the door, thanking them for coming as if they'd been model guests. Later, after closing, I find her in the empty dining room, polishing silverware with more attention than the task requires. Her face is thoughtful, almost melancholy in the dimmed lights. Tough table tonight, I comment, sliding onto a bar stool beside her. She looks up, a small smile lifting one corner of her mouth. You planned that, didn't you? I don't deny it. How could you tell? They used my exact phrases from that night, word for word. She sets down a perfectly polished fork. I can't believe I used to be like that. The genuine embarrassment in her voice surprises me. This isn't performance for my benefit. The realization moves something inside me that I thought had calcified years ago. Everyone has moments they're not proud of, I offer. What matters is recognizing them. But I didn't just have moments. I was like that all the time. Her eyes meet mine, clear and direct. I never thought about how it felt to be on the receiving end. I pick up a spoon, turning it to catch the light. Grandpa used to say that working in a restaurant teaches you more about human nature than any college degree. I remember that, Arya says softly. He'd let me fill the salt shakers when I was little. Said even that job was important because, without salt, nothing tastes right. The memory catches me off guard. I'd forgotten those early days, before competition and resentment had built walls between us. Before our parents had played favorites. Do you know why I named this place Sinclair's Reserve? I ask her. She shakes her head. Grandma told me once that family is like a special vintage, something you hold in reserve for the moments that matter most. I set the spoon down carefully. I always thought she meant the restaurant, but I think she was talking about us. For a moment, we sit in silence, the weight of years and misunderstandings between us gradually shifting, realigning. You're good at this, you know. I finally say, the job. You have a natural talent for service. I don't know about talent, she replies, but I'm learning to respect it. That's enough to start with. I stand, decision made. I'd like to offer you a permanent position, regular staff, regular hours. No special treatment, but a fair chance. Her eyes widen slightly. You'd trust me with that? After everything? I'm trusting the person you're becoming, not the one you were. I extend my hand, a formal gesture for a formal moment. The job is yours if you want it. She takes my hand, her grip firm. Thank you. I mean it this time. As we lock up for the night, Arya pauses by table 9, running her fingers lightly across its polished surface. I have some ideas, she says hesitantly, for reaching younger clientele. Nothing that would change what Sinclair's is, just expanding its reach. I'm listening, I tell her, genuinely curious. And for the first time in years, I truly am. The Friday night dinner rush at Sinclair's Reserve pulses with energy beneath me. From my mezzanine office, I watch the dance of servers, weaving between tables, the flash of white plates, the sparkle of crystal catching the light. 6 months since Arya started working here, and tonight the restaurant breathes with an easy rhythm I've never felt before. I run my finger down tonight's receipts, tallying our best weekend numbers yet. My eyes drift to the security monitor where Arya glides between tables, her practiced movements efficient and graceful. She laughs at something an elderly regular says, her smile genuine. The transformation still catches me off guard sometimes. Marcus appears at my office door, a dish towel slung over his shoulder. Victoria, we just sold out of the special, 5th Friday in a row. That's because your halibut is worth every penny, I say. He leans against the doorframe. You know what Chloe said earlier? That it's nice coming to work now. His eyes flick toward the monitor showing Arya. Everyone's noticed the difference. When he leaves, I zoom the camera in on table 9, our VIP spot. A well-dressed couple sits there, the man gesturing emphatically while the woman's face tightens with displeasure. I recognize the signs of a complaint brewing. Arya approaches their table, notepad in hand, shoulders relaxed but spine straight. I can't hear their exchange, but I watch the man's finger jabbing toward his plate, his wife's dismissive hand wave. 6 months ago, this scene would have knotted my stomach. Now I simply observe as Arya nods, maintains eye contact, offers solutions. No drama, no entitlement, just professional problem solving. The couple's rigid postures gradually soften. My phone buzzes. A text from Dad. Just parked. Mom's with me. I find them in the main dining room 20 minutes later. Mom kisses my cheek while Dad surveys the packed restaurant, pride evident in his eyes. Where's your sister? He asks, then spots her delivering desserts to a corner table. Look at her. Who would have thought? Croûte, Victoria thought, Mom says quietly. She knew exactly what Arya needed. Dad squeezes my shoulder. You were right. I should have set better boundaries years ago. The admission still feels new, fragile. You've done what I couldn't. Later, after closing, I find Arya counting her tips at the bar. The rest of the staff has gone home. Good night? I ask, sliding onto the stool beside her. $312. She stacks the bills neatly. And only one difficult table. I saw. You handled them perfectly. She smiles. Remember that first night? When I came in with my friends? I open my desk drawer and pull out the framed receipt, $5,349.50 in elegant black numbers. My handwritten note below. No job is beneath anyone. Only a person lacks respect. Arya traces the frame's edge. God, I was awful. You were who we let you be. She laughs suddenly. We should hang this in the break room. For the new hires. Really? Sure, but keep it where only staff can see it. She grins. As our family lesson. I consider this, then walk to the office safe and spin the combination. Maybe we don't need this reminder anymore. I say, placing the frame inside and closing the door. I think we've both learned it. We stand at the mezzanine railing, looking down at the empty restaurant. The tables gleam in the dim light, chairs neatly tucked, everything prepared for tomorrow. Sinclair's Reserve? Arya says softly. Grandpa would be proud. For the first time, I know it's truly ours. Not just mine, not just a legacy I'm protecting from her, but something we're building together. The knowledge settles in my chest, warm and certain as the light spilling from our windows onto the Portland street below.